So you're putting all this energy into YouTube, right? Crafting videos, hitting upload, hoping for the best, and then maybe not much happens. It's super frustrating.
It really is.
Today, we're diving into that exact problem. We're going to explore a strategy, one we've pieced together from a creator's own deep analysis about how you can legally leverage existing successful videos to, finally get your channel moving and see those view counts climb.
Exactly. We've looked at this creator's perspective, and they argue that, well, a big hurdle for new channels is that there's no proof yet that your original stuff will hit home. YouTube's algorithms, they tend to favor patterns they already know work, things that have already grabbed people's attention.
Right.
So the real question is, how can you sort of tap into that interest that's already there? Our mission in this deep dive is to pull out the most useful steps from this creator's process based on their video transcript to give you a really practical roadmap.
Okay, so the idea is to equip you with the know-how to spot content that's already winning, figure out how to adapt it properly, ethically, and legally, and then make sure YouTube actually shows your stuff to the right people. We'll touch on using AI to find those winning topics, smart ways to repurpose scripts, the really crucial bit about fair use, and also something often missed, optimizing your video's metadata.
Let's start right at the beginning then.
Yeah.
This creator we studied, they really highlight that initial challenge. You
Yeah.
make something totally original, you believe in it, but there's just no guarantee anyone will watch.
Yeah, the uncertainty.
Exactly. So their solution, it's simple, really. Look closely at what's already working well within your specific niche.
It just makes sense, doesn't it? Why reinvent the wheel when you can learn from others who are already hitting the mark with the audience you want?
Right.
So the first, concrete step they suggest is finding maybe 4 or 5 other creators in your exact field who are getting decent engagement.
These are the channels your ideal viewers are probably already subscribed to, already watching.
Yeah.
Then the process involves using an AI tool specifically. They mentioned ChatGPT-4.
Okay.
Now, the exact prompt they used isn't the main point here, but basically it's designed to analyze the content from those competitor channels you found. And they do emphasize using GPT-4, suggesting it's just better at understanding the nuances compared to, say, GPT 3.5 for this kind of task.
Interesting. And then they talk about scraping competitor content. What does that actually mean in this context?
Yeah, scraping sounds a bit technical, but it's not about downloading their videos or anything like that. It's more about observation. You look at their public stuff from the last, say, 3 or 4 months.
What kind of stuff?
Their video titles, what their thumbnails look like, how long their videos are, the themes they keep coming back to.
Yeah.
You're basically just collecting data points on what seems to get clicks and views for them.
Okay, so you gather all this info, titles, themes, video links.
Exactly. And then you feed that raw data into ChatGPT-4. The AI's job is then to look for the patterns. What topics always get high views? Are shorter videos better or longer ones? What are the recurring ideas that audiences seem to love?
And what kind of output do you get? What does the AI tell you?
It can actually be pretty detailed. It might list, say, the top 3 most viewed videos for each competitor channel you looked at. It can analyze video lengths that seem to work best, identify those historically popular themes, and even suggest brand new topic ideas, maybe even with scores showing potential.
Wow. Okay, so it moves beyond just guessing.
That's the key thing here, I think. It shifts you from just brainstorming stuff you hope might work to basing your ideas on actual evidence of what's already resonating in your space.
Makes sense.
So the immediate next step they recommend is just getting all that organized. Put the top videos, the theme analysis, the topic suggestions into one document so you can see it clearly.
Right, so you end up with maybe, 5 to 15 solid title ideas, potential themes. What then?
Well, from that pool, you can actually go back to ChatGPT and ask for more refinement. Like, okay, based on all this data, which of these specific ideas seems strongest?
So you're really leveraging what's already proven.
Precisely. The core idea is tapping into known audience behavior. By focusing on topics and formats that work for your competitors, you're kind of signaling to YouTube, hey, people interested in this stuff will likely be interested in my video too. You're aligning with those existing viewer preferences.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for finding the topic. Now, you've got a promising topic. What about the script? Are you just starting from scratch?
According to this creator, not necessarily. Once you've pinpointed that successful topic, the next move is actually to find several existing videos on YouTube about that exact same subject.
Ah, okay, so we're moving into adapting existing material now.
Yeah, but smartly and ethically. This is where they bring up a specific tool called YouTube Transcript. Just a website, youtube-transcript.com.
And what does that do?
It's pretty straightforward. You copy the URL of one of those successful competitor videos, paste it into the tool, and boom, you get the full written transcript, everything they said.
Okay, I can see how that would be useful. You get to see their structure, their key points.
Exactly. It's like getting a blueprint.
Yeah.
You can analyze how they structured their argument, what they emphasized, maybe even the kind of language they used. But, and this is really important, just copying that script wholesale, that's a big no-no.
Right, that's plagiarism and copyright infringement.
Definitely. Originality is still key. So the question is, how do you use that structure without copying?
AI again.
That's the suggestion. The creator mentioned HubSpot's Paragraph Rewriter AI. Now, full disclosure, they mentioned it was a sponsor in their original video, but the principle applies to other similar AI rewriting tools too.
Okay, so what do these rewriter tools do?
Their basic function is to take a piece of text you give them and generate a completely new version of it using different words and sentence structures, but keeping the core meaning. So you could, in theory, feed it parts of that competitor's transcript.
And it spits out a new script.
Essentially, yeah. A new script based on the ideas and structure, but written differently. The main benefit here is saving time, right?
I guess so. You're not staring at a blank page.
Exactly. You're not starting from zero, but you're also not stealing. You're using the proven flow of a successful video as a sort of scaffolding to build your own unique take. You might even end up with something better or more suited to your own voice.
Okay, using it as a foundation, not a replacement.
Precisely, leveraging the framework.
Right.
So now you've potentially got a strong title based on data and a well-structured script, maybe assisted by AI. The next really crucial piece is the visual element, especially if you want to use clips from other videos. How do you do that legally?
Right. This brings us to fair use copyright. This is super important to understand if you're going to incorporate any part of someone else's video.
Absolutely. The core principle, the absolute bedrock, is that your use has to be transformative. You need to add something new, change it significantly. You can't just re-upload clips without adding your own layer.
What counts as transformative, though? That sounds a bit vague.
Well, the creator we're looking at gives some pretty clear examples. One is adding commentary or analysis. Think about reaction videos where someone plays a short clip and then gives their expert take or breaks it down.
Okay, so you're adding your own opinion or insight.
Exactly. That's new value. Another example they gave is how-to content. Maybe you're teaching video editing.
Right.
You might show a quick, 2-second clip of how a famous creator does a specific transition. They mentioned Peter McKinnon as an example. And then you spend the next minute showing your viewers how to replicate that effect themselves.
So the clip is just illustrative, not the main focus.
Precisely. In both cases, commentary or instruction, the reused footage isn't the main event. It's there to support your new purpose. That transformation is what potentially puts it under fair use.
And if you don't transform it, if you just use clips without adding much...
Big risks. The creator really stresses this. You're looking at copyright strikes against your channel, the video being taken down, maybe even legal trouble from the original creator. YouTube's Content ID system is pretty good at catching this stuff automatically, too.
Yeah, definitely not worth the gamble.
Not at all. Put in the effort to genuinely transform any clips you use. Add your perspective, your teaching, your unique value. That's how you stay safe and respect copyright.
Okay, solid advice. So let's say you've done all that data-backed topic, AI-assisted script, you understand fair use for any clips, your video is made. How do you make sure people actually find it on YouTube?
Ah, yes. Metadata. This is critical. Your description and your tags, this is the information you give YouTube to help it understand what your video is about and who it should show it to. Good metadata is vital for discovery.
Right. Let's break that down. First, the video description. What's the advice there?
Keep it short and sweet. Aim for just 1 to 3 sentences that clearly summarize the video. And importantly, try to naturally include keywords from your title and maybe some main points from your script.
Why is that important?
It just gives the YouTube algorithm context. It helps it categorize your video correctly and match it up with people searching for that topic or who've watched similar stuff.
Okay, concise and keyword-rich description. What about tags? And you mentioned being specific here.
Yes, very specific. We're talking about the actual tags box you fill in when you upload in YouTube Studio. We are not talking about putting hashtags in your description text.
Got it. So the dedicated tag section, what goes in there?
The recommendation is short phrases, maybe 1 to 4 words long. Think about what someone would actually type into the YouTube search bar to find a video like yours. What are the core topics, related ideas?
And how many should you aim for?
Try to fill it up reasonably well, aiming for maybe 450 to 475 characters total. Use relevant, accurate phrases.
Okay. And you mentioned something important not to do.
Yes. A crucial warning from the source material. Absolutely do not just dump all your tags into the main video description box.
Why not? I feel like I've seen people do that.
It's considered spammy by YouTube systems. It's an old tactic that doesn't work anymore and can actually hurt your video's performance. Keep tags in the tag box, description in the description box.
Good to know. Avoid that outdated practice.
And actually, the creator we studied mentioned there are several other outdated things smaller channels sometimes do that they should avoid, but that's maybe a deeper dive for another time. The key takeaway is staying current with best practices.
Right. Okay, so let's quickly recap the main steps we've pulled out here for legally leveraging existing content. First up, use data, maybe AI like ChatGPT-4, to analyze competitors and find topics that are already proven winners.
Yep. Second, use tools like YouTube transcripts and AI rewriters ethically to help structure and draft your script, building on successful formats but making it your own.
Third, crucially, understand fair use. If you use existing video clips, you must transform them significantly by adding commentary, instruction, or some other new value. Don't just re-upload.
So important. And finally, optimize your metadata. Write a clear, concise, keyword-rich description and use relevant phrases in the dedicated tags section in YouTube Studio, not in the description.
Following these steps, the idea is you're giving your channel a much more informed starting point, aren't you?
Exactly. You're sort of aligning yourself with what the audience and the algorithm already recognize as interesting. You're providing clearer signals about what your video offers.
It's a strategic approach. So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. This core idea, analyzing what works, adapting it, building upon successful models, it's not just for YouTube, is it?
Not at all.
Think about where else you could apply this. In other creative work you do, maybe in your job, or even just tackling personal projects. How could you learn from what's already proven effective out there? It's really about understanding that innovation often comes not from a vacuum, but from thoughtfully standing on the shoulders of giants, so to speak, building on what came before.